Welcome back, True Seeker. Want to again discuss the death of Gene Hackman, his wife, and their dog, and their bodies being found just days before the Academy Awards, where Gene Hackman was a two-time winner, and literally every article written about it. It's in the opening paragraphs of the articles written that he was a two-time Oscars winner. Again, putting this in your head right before the Oscars. And year after year, when the award ceremonies come around, could be the Oscars, could be the Country Music Awards, could be the Grammys, you see these very specific deaths of people connected to these industries passing in close proximity, sometimes a little before, sometimes a little after, sometimes the day of, sometimes all three. And again, nobody seems to blink an eye. It's just like when the major sports championships come around, people connected to those teams die every single year, and no one seems to blink an eye. And I've been here for 11 years documenting this, exposing this, and showing who is doing this. If these people are being murdered, there must be someone responsible. And it is very clear who's responsible for this. It is the entity that really does have control over this world. It's why we're on their calendar. It's why we're speaking their language. And it truly is undeniable. And again, we're going to get into it. We're going to talk about Gene Hackman and his family, as well as the other death that ended up in the headlines at the same time, the chess grandmaster who went up against Bobby Fischer. These stories are not unrelated, and we're going to put it together and connect it through one number that is very specific to the entity that's responsible. And we're going to talk about a larger thing going on in the world as well, because Gene Hackman's death has everything to do with the movie that he won his first Academy Award for. And just to make this short and sweet for anyone who doesn't have time, Gene Hackman won his first Academy in 1972. That was the year that the chess grandmaster Boris Spassky went up against Bobby Fischer, 72. And both of these stories, which came on Thursday, February 27th, they were 72 days after the Pope's birthday. Not an arbitrary number to the Pope or the Catholic Church. Pope Francis became the first Jesuit Pope March 13th, 2013, the 72nd day of the year. And the Kabbalistic practice of coding numbers into words, Jesuit order, equates to 72. Their logo is the sun, which moves 1 degree on the astrological wheel every 72 years. The Jesuits are versed in Kabbalah because of their Jewish history. In Kabbalah, there's 72 names of God. In the Goetia, there's 72 demons. In the Bible, there's Jesus and his 72 men that he sends out on behalf of a survey, essentially. 72 is not arbitrary. And in addition to both of these stories coming 72 days after the Pope's birthday, they also came on the 58th day of the year. It's interesting because Pope Francis equates to 58, and he became a Jesuit in 58. If you want to look it up, just type in Pope Francis hidden hand. You'll find the photo from before he's the Pope. He has his hand tucked inside of his shirt. The hidden hand is a Masonic pose. There is a connection with the Jesuits and the Masons. A lot of the rites of Masonry were written by Jesuit priests, including the 32nd degree of the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, which shares the motto with the Jesuits in Marum de Gloriam. And again, in the Jesuit Order's logo, there's 32 sun rays. But with regards to the Masons, in this Kabbalistic code, Freemasonry equals 58, as does Rosicrucian, as does Secret Society, as does Solomon's Temple, which is where all of Masonry's secrets are based in. And of course, Solomon's Temple is important to the history of the Templars and the Crusades, because they called Al-Aqsa Mosque, the Templars did, Solomon's Temple, and that's why modern-day Israel was put where it is. Jerusalem also equates to 58. These are not arbitrary numbers. Again, we talk about them all the time. They are related. It is a system. And again, just very redundant patterns. So let's go through the Gene Hackman death one more time. We'll talk more about Boris Spassky's death. But again, this 72 is huge. Both men, career accomplishments in 72, only to die and be in the news 72 days from the Pope's birthday. All right. So bit by bit, Santa Fe, New Mexico. And what I've learned, shout out to Dave, who lives in New Mexico. Santa Fe's name is related to Saint Francis of Assisi. You can look this up. It's a fact. Santa Fe's name is related to Saint Francis of Assisi, exactly who Pope Francis is named after. San Francisco is also named after Saint Francis of Assisi. Santa Fe, a little bit more abbreviated than San Francisco. But you can see how Santa Fe, New Mexico, in the base ciphers equates to the Jesuit order in 3 out of the 4 ciphers. Again, if you're new here, the 4 base ciphers, the alphabetic order, the reverse alphabetic order, and both orders with numerology. It's elementary mathematics. It's adding up letters based on their position in the alphabetic order. The French Connection is the big piece, a movie about funneling drugs. And 32 is a big number in the movie if you look up the plot. Again, going with those 32 sun rays on the Jesuit Order's logo. Okay. Eugene Allen Hackman. Gene Hackman's full name equates to 71 and 91, just like the Society of Jesus. His death was 71 days after the Pope's birthday. You could also say the 72nd day of the Pope's age. The news broke 72 days after the Pope's birthday. The French Connection came out in 71, and he won his Oscar for it in 72. Again, if you're new here, talk about these same numbers all the time. The whole war in Israel, which is Israel from the beginning, modern day Israel, is a Catholic Jesuit creation. Undeniable by the code. We've been talking about why the war began on Putin's 71st birthday, 71 days for the Pope's. Why recently Netanyahu said with Trump at his side and Marco Rubio that they're going to spread the war to Iran exactly 71 weeks after it began on a Sunday. Again, the Catholic Church venerates the sun. Sol Invictus equates to 71. That's the day that the Catholic Church celebrates the sun's birthday, which they've now also incorporated the Son of God's birthday on the same day, even though in the Bible, Jesus is born in the summer. And again, it's a reminder of how powerful the Catholic Church is. Their ability to bend facts, warp history, get the world on their timeline, on their calendar, speaking their language, watching their rituals performed day after day. So again, the French Connection, we're going to get to how it's about drug running. And with regards to drugs and the Jesuits, we've been really pounding home that point in the 21st century, and we'll revisit again here in a moment. But yeah, just to remind, they had to say that they found the bodies of Gene Hackman and his wife. And by the way, they're saying they found the bodies on Wednesday. The fact that they're saying they're mummified might mean that they really died long ago, but notice how it doesn't become the news until just days before the Oscars, where everyone has to point out in their articles that he was a 2-time Academy Award winner. But they had to say that the body was found at 1:45 p.m., a lot like 145, a lot like how there's 145 more chapters in the Catholic Old Testament, similar to Israel's establishment date, the 14th day of the 5th month. Notice, Catholic, 71 when you run it forwards, 145 when you run it in reverse. These big stories on a Thursday. Catholic, 35 forwards, 46 in reverse, just like Thursday. Catholic and Thursday. Again, the 4 base ciphers, the system. You know, I recently had a debate with a supposed Orthodox Christian who swears the Catholic Church is the enemy of the world, and he wanted to shout down this knowledge and say it's all meaningless. Anyone with a brain sees that this knowledge isn't meaningless. And when you're someone who speaks against the Catholic Church and its wrongdoing, you want this knowledge in your hand because you can really point to the wrongdoing going on with this evil entity that masquerades, as a wolf in sheep's clothing. So, yeah. And again, beware of anybody on the internet who tells you this knowledge is bunk. That person is surely your enemy if you're into truth and making a better world. Know your enemy. Gene Hackman, again, in the base ciphers equates to 46, just like sacrifice. Genesis 46 is about sacrifice, goes with Catholic, Thursday. I should have put the word religion up here. Religion's also 46 and 53. He won his first Academy in 72, 53 years ago. with regards to this happening while he's 95, again, the Jesuits' original mission was to counter the 95 Theses, and that's why they were recognized by the Roman Catholic Church on September 27th, the day leaving 95 days left in the year. Talk about this all the time, how important the number 95 is to the Jesuits. Gene Hackman dead 27 days after his birthday. High ritual number. Another high ritual number is 45 from Bonnie and Clyde anniversary, man and woman, or woman and man, a story about him and his wife. From the anniversary of Bonnie and Clyde to Gene Hackman being found dead was 197 days. The 45th prime ritual equals 45 and 27. It's just like how Berlin Wall equals 45 and Trump was declared number 45 on the 27th anniversary of the fall of the wall. Berlin Wall also equals 63, like that was in 2016, the 63rd triangular number, the year they took out Muhammad Ali by the numbers in tribute to the Prophet Muhammad, who died at age 63. Another thing we called years in advance, why Muhammad Ali would go in that year at age 74. But yeah, the wife's name, Betsy Arakawa, also 197 days after Bonnie and Clyde, another one of Gene Hackman's big movies. Bonnie and Clyde has the 64 in it, like the spaces on a chessboard. Got the chess grandmaster dead in the news at the same time, along with Gene Hackman's 64-year-old wife. Bonnie and Clyde, 71. And again, he died exactly 20 weeks after the anniversary of the French Connection coming out. Death, time, cross, all 20. The word on the street is it was carbon monoxide that killed them. Notice how carbon monoxide overlaps with Eugene Allen Hackman, 152-71. Again, bodies found 71 days after the Pope's birthday. Carbon monoxide, when you run the alphabetic order in reverse, is 226. What day were their bodies found? Were they found dead on 226? Again, this stuff's going on every single day. Yet here we are in 2025 after showing this every single day for over 11 years. And you still have people that want to say, we're just cherry picking facts, just finding things to make the connections. Where's this cherry picking ever? Like, where in a single video have I ever cherry picked facts? Names, locations, causes of death. These are the main facts. If I was ignoring all of the main things and everything and being like, oh, well, look at this set of words here in the article I found. Here it said, here on Friday. And that was my whole decode. Look, I found the words in the article here on Friday, and that equals 226. If I was doing that every day, I'd be like, yeah, that's definitely cherry picking facts, finding 3 random words in the article. But no, every video is the same things that are being brought up, the same points being made over and over. Another award ceremonies come around, and we have another death, which is why I have a category for this on my website with years of posts in it, deaths and award ceremonies. Here's the latest entry. But let's keep on going. Again, he won Academy Awards in 93 and 72, but 72 was the top honor because that was for Best Actor in the French Connection, when the Jesuits are from France. By the way, International Chess Day comes out of Paris, France, in light of the chess master being dead at the same time. Best Supporting Actor in 93 for Unforgiven. But let's talk more about this movie that he won Best Actor for in 72. The plot of this movie, The French Connection, when again we have Pope Francis and the Jesuits being from France. In Marseille, a police detective follows Alan Charnay, who runs a heroin smuggling syndicate. Charnay's hitman, Pierre Nicoli, murders the detective. Charnay plans to smuggle $32 million worth of heroin into the United States. Keep in mind, America equals 32. Nation was founded on 32, date numerology. Again, those 32 sun rays on the Jesuit Order's logo. Endless rituals with the 32, like the Dodgers winning their first World Series in 32 years over the Rays. Something we were on Lock City for in spring training. Anyway, by hiding it in the car of his unsuspecting friend, television personality Henry DeVoe, who is traveling to New York City by ship. In New York, detectives Jimmy Popeye Doyle and Buddy Cloudy Russo go out for drinks at the Copacabana. Popeye observes Salvatore Boca and his young wife Angie entertaining mobsters involved in narcotics. They tail the couple and establish a link between the Bocas and lawyer Joel Weinstock, a buyer in the narcotics underworld. Popeye learns that a shipment of heroin will arrive soon. The detectives convince their supervisor to wiretap the bogus phones. Popeye and Cloudy are joined by federal agents Moldering and Klein. Now, drugs are paramount to the cabal and the world domination that is taking place. And just to remind you guys about the Scandemic, which was put on by the Jesuit in a simulation called Event 201, when the Jesuit orders 201. Again, they simulated how they would get out the drugs for their Scandemic on the same day the military World Games began in Wuhan, China. Event 201, which led to C-19, that came 19 years after 9/11 and the 19 hijackers in 2001. And recall the war on terror. 2020 was the war on germs. 2020 was the war on terror. The war on germs was really about, getting people buying certain drugs. But the war on terror was also about killing the Taliban to bring back opioid production, which has led to the crazy opioid crisis that we've seen with both oxy and now fentanyl. 19 years before 9/11 and the war on terror, which was really about drugs, was the war on drugs. And 19 years before that was the killing of JFK, which got us very involved in Vietnam, which was about heroin and opium and it being funneled into this country, creating a new drug culture that eventually led to the war on drugs 19 years later, that led to the greater, spread of drug culture and opioid abuse through the war on terror, which led to 2020, where a lot of people ended up in hospitals on all kinds of medications, opioids, and more. All of this stuff is about drugs, and it's all being done on a 19-year cycle because these people operate by the 19-year cycle of the moon because, again, the Jesuits are a Catholic order that serves the Pope that brought in elements of Judaism, including the many Jew converts who were the original Jesuits. Just think about Hollywood. Hollywood's considered, pretty much a Jewish enterprise, but what religion gets venerated more than any other in Hollywood? Is it not Catholicism? I mean, can you think of many movies about the church where it wasn't about how great the Catholics are? Okay, so anyway, it is the 97th Oscars that are about to take place, and the opioid of the world right now, the drug that is being put in everything on the street that is taking all kinds of people's lives, is fentanyl. Okay? That is the heroin of today. So this is his movie that he won Best Actor for about the heroin drug trade, and now he's dead right before the 97th Oscars, where we've been talking in a big way about this pattern with 97 and fentanyl ever since Prince died in a major Jesuit ritual synced up with the Jesuit scumbag winning the rigged election in 2016, followed by another Jesuit scumbag in 2020, followed by the same Jesuit scumbag that won in 2016 and 2024. All elections that we called out way in advance through understanding this code and who's controlling the world. So right before the 97th Oscars, this happens. And if you're saying, well, what about heroin? Yeah, I'm going to come right back to that point. He also won his Academy in 93. They're saying him and his wife were found mummified, which is 93. But, by the way, when he won it in 93, that was the 65th Oscars. They're also using the word mummification, which equals 65. But here's the thing about heroin. Did I not put the screenshot in here? Maybe I forgot to put the screenshot in here. I think I forgot to put the screenshot in here. All right, here, let me just put it up on the screen. In the same cipher that fentanyl is 97, heroin is 93. So this was an accidental omission. Or I take it back. Heroin's 93 when you run the alphabetic order in reverse. And just for the record, this fentanyl thing's gone crazy ever since Prince died. I just want you to see the parallels with fentanyl and Prince. Fentanyl, 97. Prince, 97. Prince, 38. Fentanyl, 38. Fentanyl, 34. Prince, 34. They're saying that Gene Hackman and his wife were married for 34 years, before he dies, clearly in tribute to his first Oscar, which was about a drug very much related to fentanyl. Major opioid, major addictive, major killer. Again, the cabal is a death cult. So you can see the use of these words everywhere. And just the way like Fox News is cluing things. This is Fox News headline from this morning, the 59th day of the year. There are clues. Remember, this whole thing is synced with Pope Francis. There are clues, 59. Pope Francis in the same cipher, 59. Again, Benedict stepped down on the 59th day of the year for him. In the 59th election, Biden was elected number 46, exactly 46 weeks after the Pope's birthday, when Catholics 46. More recently, Pope Francis hospitalized 59 days after his birthday on the very Catholic day of Valentine's. Run it in reverse, Pope Francis 58. Just like he became a Jesuit in 58. Just like how the 58th election was synced up with the Pope when his Jesuit buddy Trump beat Hillary, who was also Jesuit educated. There are clues. Did you notice there was also a 140 in that? He died, or the bodies were found at least exactly 140 days after the anniversary of the French Connections release, which is also the same as 20 weeks, when death, cross, time, seasons, all in the same cipher. Death, 20. Cross, 20. Seasons, 20. Time, 20. If you know what the cross traditionally represents to what's considered pagans, you understand where seasons and time and cross all fit in. The cross symbolizes the 4 seasons. A T is a cross. It's the 20th letter. This is all very Catholic. There are clues, yeah, all over the place. And by the way, just for another 59, in light of them doing this on the 59th day of the year, Unforgiven's 59, the other movie you won an Academy for. Again, this is their headline on the 59th day of the year. By the way, Unforgiven released in history on the anniversary of the Jesuit suppression ending August 7th. The Catholic Church equals 87, like Ignatius of Loyola. Again, that's the founder of the Jesuits. Run it the other way, it's 78, like Jesuit 78, like the chump retakes off, which is age 78. The current superior general took office on the day leaving 78 days left in the year. Something of concern. This is what they went from that one headline that equaled 53 to this. Something of concern. 95 on, in regards to a man who is dead at 95. Big time Jesuit number. And then the other thing is, if you write out 666, I want to make a point about this. It equals 95, right? 666 equals 95. 95 weeks in one day is 666 days in light of this system of the calendar and the language all being synced together. New Mexico in the Sumerian cipher is 666. You recently saw me debate some fake Christians where I was trying to break it down and reach them as these guys who do not like the Catholic Church, again, who have to take on the stance of denying what's taught in Revelation 13 about the man with wisdom knows how to calculate the number of the beast. Both of these people wanted to reject that, showing just right there inherently that they're false Christians. No true Christian would ever reject how to calculate the number of the beast. And if supposedly you're against the Catholic Church, you also wouldn't reject knowledge that shows that, yes, the church is running things and they are as evil and as wicked as people have contended they are, thus the Protestant Reformation and the many other movements against the church in history. Again, just they have to tell you, married 34 years, big time murder number. We gave a spiel on the 33rd day of the year, why to expect a murder on the 34th day of the year in the world of hip hop, which came the very next day in Maryland. And I can't remember the name of the gentleman who was killed, but from the world of hip hop, his name also equaled 34. It was the anniversary of Maryland winning the Super Bowl on the 34th day of the year with 34 points after the 34-minute blackout, reminding you that the Super Bowl goes back to the Jesuit Vince Lombardi, and that the Jesuits really are controlling all these entertainment venues and the ritualism. And by the way, with regards to this all being in sync with the Pope, Francis is 34. Francis 34. It's the Society of Jesus. Jesus 34, like church. 34 is the 9th Fibonacci number. Sun equals 9. Again, Jesus is the sun, a metaphor for the sun, something that's very simple to understand, very transparent, something that a lot of religious people will not accept because dogma closes people's minds and makes them live on ego where they cannot admit they're wrong. And largely that's because they're also living in fear. If they reject their dogma that came from an evil entity that they've accepted as gospel, then it could result in eternal damnation in the hellfire, which is exactly how the Catholic Church has controlled humanity, through fear, through saying we're authority and you're not, you will submit. So now coming back to the next piece, again, the French Connection. The Academy Award winner for the movie, who won the award in 72, is now dead with the master chess player who had his biggest match in 72 when International Chess Day traces back to Paris, France, the home of the Jesuits. Thus Pope Francis. And of course, the Pope is 88 right now. 88 does have a relation to a chessboard. Think of the spaces on a chessboard, 64, like Gene Hackman's wife's age. Where do 64 and 88 connect? Just think about it. What is 8 times 8? 64. There's a mathematical connection just through the numbers. 8 times 8 is 64. 8 by 8 is the chessboard, and 8 by 8. Okay, they got to post 38 minutes after the hour, the number of death. And he died in Moscow at 88. Another point to be made about that is Moscow in the most simple cipher is 88. Remember, the Jesuits were preserved in France, or not, excuse me, not in France. They were preserved in Russia in the time of their suppression by Catherine the Great with 201 Jesuit priests. So dead in Moscow at 88 is the chess master. Match of the century was 72. You know what? I should have looked. We'll do that in real time. We'll look up what date that was in 72 because I didn't look at that. But notice, again, it was 72 days after the Pope's birthday. Jesuit order, 72. It was the 58th day of the year. Pope Francis has been a Jesuit since 58. Paris, 72. International Chess Day traces back to Paris, France, and it traces back to the 201st day of the year. Critics will say, well, look, you have to put a "the" in front of it to get the 201 in Jesuit order, and then you have to leave off the to get the 72. And I'll say, yeah, so what? They're both grammatically correct phrasings, and you can see time and time again how these exact numbers come together over and over and over and over and over. And again, this is how gematria works. It is the Kabbalistic practice of coding numbers into words, phrases, and sentences. So the Jesuit order, what do we say in English? That's not a true way to express the name of the order? Of course not. If I say Jesuit order alone, is that not a true way to express the order? Of course, it is a true way to express it. Thus, the numbers behind those are also authentic. And when you can see how they are used together ritualistically over and over, it becomes undeniable. For people who don't know, this 144 with the Jesuits, first of all, it's a biblical number, but it's everywhere. The Jesuits came out of suppression 144 days after James Madison's birthday. The only president in history with the 201 name. The Jesuit headquarters is the Church of the Jesuit, Building 54. 153 is another biblical number. Again, sun equals 54. The sun moves 1 degree on the astrological wheel every 72 years. So within Jesuit order, you have the connection to the sun. Time is dictated by the Earth's relation to the sun. There's 1,440 minutes in a day. The square root of 144 is 12. The hours in the morning and the evening, the months in the year, in this system set up by the church. On and on and on. And then with regards to the 201 encoding, again, Ignatius of Loyola, 201, Jorge Mario Bergoglio, 201, that's Pope Francis. He's the first Jesuit Pope, the first to live in Suite 201. The founder of the Jesuits died in 84. The 69 encoding goes with Catholic Church. New World Order, Illuminati, the Illuminati founded by the Jesuit Adam Weishaupt, who died 201 days after the anniversary of its establishment, when Order of Illuminati also equals 201. The 177, there's a lot of pairings with that. I mean, you just look at guys like Klaus Schwab, the Jesuit who put on the Event 201 simulation. You look at guys like Benjamin Netanyahu, who runs the 201 Nation, State of Israel, on and on and on. That these numbers come together in so many different ways. What they did with Hunter Biden, the many 201 and 177 rituals with Hunter Biden, where those numbers factored in with the death of Beau Biden, et cetera, et cetera. It just, you see how the system is used. That is the proof that the system exists and it's being used by these people, because these numbers are continually synced with the superior general and the Pope in world-shaping events. Okay. In light of them doing things in pairs with the Pope and the Black Pope is the leader of the Jesuits, Arturo Sosa, whose birthday is November 12th. Notice the Pope's name, Jorge Mario Bergoglio. I just talked about how it has the 201 in it. It also has the 105 in it. And these rituals came 105 days after the Superior General's birthday. Notice how Order of Illuminati, which again was founded by the Jesuit Adam Weishaupt, has the 201 and the 105 in it. The 93 fits in here with Gene Hackman and where that number connects with his history with the academies, and also just this big heroin thing. Again, I forgot to put up the photo of that. But coming back to this again, International Chess Day from the land of the Jesuits on the 201st day of the year. When again, the Jesuits, they were created by this guy, Mr. 201, Ignatius of Loyola, who died 84 days from his birthday, like the Jesuit orders 201 and 84. Oh, by the way, these stories broke on a date with 75 numerology as well, just for the record. Oh, yeah. International Chess Day just happens to be the 201st day of the year. And it just happens to be from the land of the Jesuits, 201. And looking at the last French Pope. The last French Pope in the history of the church was the 201st. This death. Look at this, you guys. It was the 100. This year, the International Chess Day will turn 101 years old, right? The 26th prime number. Very big number also with the papacy. And again, just biblical number too, because papacy is 26. So is God. So is Adam. Man makes, or God. Well, you could argue that man made God in the 26th verse in the book written by man. But in the Bible, God makes man in the 26th verse and not arbitrarily. The four-letter name of God in Hebrew equates to 26. So yeah, anyhow, it's so obvious how these things are connected, but only if you have this gematria knowledge. You could see like, whoa, that's interesting. They both celebrities dead on the same day in the news, both who had big ears in 72, but without this knowledge, where do you go with the 72? How do you connect the meaning of it? You don't. You don't connect the meaning of it. You're missing a piece of knowledge to make the connection that exposes what's really going on. That's why anyone trying to argue that this knowledge is not useful is a fool. And again, everyone trying to downplay the career accomplishments of awesome predictions, which belong to yours truly, you can do that all you want. That still isn't an argument that the knowledge isn't useful. If you have to build a house and you have boards, a nail, and a hammer, and you say, well, this hammer's not useful because I can't predict the future with it. This nail's not useful because I can't predict the future with it. What am I doing with this board? I can't predict the future with it. It's not useful. That would be stupid. Again, there's so many purposes for this knowledge beyond predicting the future. But it is good for indicating what's coming in the future, not because it makes you a prophet, but because the game is rigged. And if you know who rigs the game, you can figure out the way the system's rigged. Same reason we knew that Bitcoin would be worth 72,000 last year on the 72nd day of the year, and why it would collapse right after, which is exactly what it did. Because if you learn this knowledge, you'll see who controls Bitcoin. You see the 36 and 45, also like the Jesuit letters IHS. Again, you see how money's got the 72, like the 72 bricks on the pyramid on the dollar bill. Again, you learn this knowledge, you see how the game is rigged. You can make very good predictions. You can be way ahead of the curve. You can escape from the matrix of misinformation. You can solve murders, and enough people will get on board. The people doing this murdering and really playing tyranny, playing the part of tyrants and having tyranny on our lives. Again, that could be stopped as well, which is the larger aim. So, yeah, the Holy Bible. I'm looking at the chat now. I see the Holy Bible. Yeah, absolutely another 201. All right, Paula the Kitchen Witch. Thank you for gifting a membership. Jared Bailey. Opioid addiction equals number of the beast. Very interesting. Appreciate that as well, Jared. I'm going to drop a link real quick. I got about 20 minutes if anybody else has something to come on and share. And if not, let somebody, if you want to hop on but don't have anything to share about this topic, wait to see if somebody comes on who does. I did just drop the link. I'll drop it 2 times so it's not to be missed. Yeah, absolutely. When Houston froze over the other year on Valentine's Day, we were a million miles ahead of that. We told people to be prepared for blackouts and crazy weather on that day. A lot of very accurate predictions over the years to the day. Look into the death of Roy Scheider, who played with Gene Hackman in The French Connection. I will do that. We got Jared Bailey versus the World joining us as well. Roy Scheider died at 75. Well, there's that number again. And we're just talking about where that goes with the Catholic Church and Roman Catholic and New World Order and order, and why we had the prediction years in advance for a war to break out while Israel was 75 years old, which it did. It's the one that's still ongoing, costing us a lot of money. And now the news breaks of Gene Hackman on a 75 date numerology. The New World Order is very reliant on drugs. Let's get Jared on here. Jared, your mic is muted. What's up, man? Jared, you got to unmute yourself.
Here, you hear me?
Yeah, what's up, man?
First off, as Gene Hackman played Lex Luthor, which, of course sounds like Martin Luther, 95, died at 95.
Absolutely.
But what's interesting is that there's a new Superman movie coming out on 7/11 of all days, and Lex Luthor equals 135. The 26, when they say he supposedly died, was 135 days to the release of the movie. And 135 is actually an interesting number too, because there's like 3 sets of numbers that, if you add them in their reverse, equal 666. 135 and 531. 234, which is like Mark of the Beast, and 432, and then of course 333. Obviously, all those numbers can be found in the phrase 7 heads and 10 horns, like which the beast.
Something else I just gotta say about the 135 is Bavaria has the Gematria 135, where the Illuminati was founded by the Jesuit, and the date July 11th can be written 11/7. There's a relationship with 117 and 135 through Central Intelligence Agency, which again was something created in a major Jesuit ritual back on September 18th, 47, on the 201st day of the Pope's age.
And the date 9/5, September 5th, is the day leaving 117 days left in the year.
Interesting.
But what you put up there, what was that again? I wrote down. There are clues. Now, when you see that the numbers 140 and 211, or 211 and 140 and 211, that's automatically a 666 in reverse satanic. If you see a 211 and 140, it's 666 in satanic, which 140 and 211 is the same as Satan the devil. And the other set is 176 and 202, or vice versa, to get the 666 and the satanic ciphers as well. But as far as people talking about saying that it's cheating using the articles a, and the, that's just an ignorant statement. I ain't gonna rant about it now, but why do those words even exist? You know what I mean? They're pretty much.
I just made the point. It's perfect English, and this is what the system's about. Finding the numbers that go with that and how they are used in a system, which we have absolutely done. Yeah, it is a dumb argument, and it's easily debunked.
Well, right, and a lot of languages don't even have, like Russian, for example, don't even have those words. They don't have. There's really useless part. Why do they exist if not just to get their numbers? And sometimes you can get the same number with or without. Like people and the people is both 33. Or like. When Trump was shot in his ear, what was he technically shot in? He was shot in his auricle. Auricle, his outer ear. Sounds like oracle, like a predictor of the future, which those two words don't match. But if you put an oracle in front of OA or ORACL, then it's a 3 out of 4 cipher match. I mean, I've found a million of these examples. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's a very ignorant argument. It's stupid. But
absolutely. While you were talking, some things pointed out. Superman with Gene Hackman came out 46 years ago. Again, his name equals 46, like sacrifice. Bring up the Lex Luthor point you made. And then it is about to be the 86th March Madness, which will be on the championships on the 97th day of the year. He's dead right before the 97th Oscars. He was in Hoosiers about Indiana. Movie came out in 86. Again, it'll be the 86th March Madness. I don't think the Indiana Hoosiers are going to the championship, but there is probably going to be a parallel in the tournament, so that is something to keep in mind. Go ahead, Jared.
Well, and who's the Superman? Superman, the character, is an alien that crash lands on Earth. Where did he die? New Mexico.
Right.
Where the aliens crash landed. It's just, I don't know. I'm sure there's even more to it. There always is. But, you know, I'm surprised Gene Hackman didn't have a carbon monoxide detector, you know.
Right, right, and he just happens to get found just days before the Academy Awards when this kind of stuff happens year after year. So,
And of course, he was an enemy of the state too. I haven't looked into his connection with that, but he was
well,
the
that character that he plays in that movie is based on his 1974 movie, The Conversation. Have you seen The Conversation?
no, I haven't. But he's been in so many movies I didn't know where to start. I'm like, man, Superman's already got me. You know what I mean? I'm sure there's a million connections out there that I'm not even thinking about right now. You know, but
Hackman, you know, a big movie right now on Netflix is about hackers taking down the U.S. with De Niro. You guys, here, I bet we're going to see this happen multiple times in our lifetime. April 19th is going to become a day redundant with cyber attacks in history. Again, that's Ignatius of Loyola Day, a day of all kinds of tragedies, but cyber attack equals 109 like military, and that's the 109th day of the year. Remember, last year, the Jesuits simulated their cyber attack, cyber polygon, on the day before September 11th, which can be written 10/9. And again, Jesuits doing these simulations of cyber attack. Look at what Klaus Schwab said about 4 or 5 years back about how there's going to be a cyber attack that's going to be more detrimental on the world than C-19, which, again, the same guy also simulated that the day the military war games began in Wuhan.
well, and then think about his name too, Gene Hackman. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm
they
saying.
They made mRNA back. Just think about genetically modified, or you know, they put mRNA vaccines in there to modify or gene. It's just
exactly.
Yeah. But well, I'll see if anybody. I got to get off here, but
all right. Always good to hear from you, Jared. Thank you.
All right, man. Have a good one.
Yeah, take care. All right, somebody gets to cut in line. We're going Daria, then Evan, then Plain Decoded. But Daria, ladies first. What's up, Daria?
Hi, Zach. How you doing?
How you doing?
Can you hear me?
Absolutely. You sound great.
Okay. I just wanted to talk about the death of Gene Hackman. I put out a tweet, like, as soon as I woke up to get ready to go to work, I put out a tweet. And again, you know, we see this every year before the Oscars. You know, this year's Gene Hackman. You know, last year was the death of Tom Wilkinson, which was connected to, you know, Christopher Nolan and his Oscar-winning film, you know, Oppenheimer. You know, and what pisses me off is when you see tweets with, you know, Clint Eastwood puts out tweets, you know, saying, you know, my thoughts and prayers, you know, farewell to my good friend, you know, Gene Hackman. And it's like, it's disgusting, you know, that, you know, it's just.
Because you would expect these people to say, you know, this is too ritualistic. Somebody needs to look into this.
Exactly. Exactly. And, you know, I put out a tweet. And, you know, 46 is all over the place. You know, I think he died like 46 weeks after the anniversary of his first Oscar win for The French Connection. You know, again, French Connection is, to me, is one of the greatest crime dramas, you know, ever, you know. And, you know, and then the fact that not only his wife, but his dog, I mean.
Dog equals 26, right? They're saying they found him on the 26th.
Yeah, I'm like, don't dogs normally, like, you know, like alert, you know, when there's like a funny smell or like say like if you had like a gas leak or something like that, don't dogs normally like would smell that and, you know, start barking? I'm like, I just don't understand. I mean, it's sad, you know, because you know, regardless of which, you know, he was a great actor. He had a lot of great movies, you know. So I mean, it's just, it's pretty sad. But
here's what it says online about it. Says dogs cannot smell carbon monoxide, but can still become early detectors. I wonder how that is. That's interesting.
Yeah. But yeah, I did find his wife Betsy's birthday. She was born on December 1st. So yeah, it was 87 days after her birthday. So yeah, this is a clear you know, tribute to the Oscars, you know, coming up on Sunday. But yeah, no, that's just, and those are just my thoughts, and you know, just want to tell you, keep up the good work, Zach, and thanks for having me on.
Hey,
I have to go back to work.
Thanks for coming on, Daria. I wish you'd come on more. Appreciate it.
Bye, Zach.
All right, you have a good day. All right, Daria is one of our great truth seekers and contributors to the community. She's pound of payment with us all over the nation, educating about these Jesuits and their rituals from Oklahoma City up to New York. What's up, Evan?
All right, I have something that's unrelated, but I do think it is important to share, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, can I share my screen? Is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right, give me a second here.
Plain Decoded will be up next.
All right, so right now, Alex Ovechkin is soon to break Wayne Gretzky's all-time NHL goal record. Now, I was trying to find if there was a connection between Barry Bonds and Wayne Gretzky, because they have, like, Barry Bonds is the most home runs, Wayne Gretzky is the most goals. And so something I found, so Barry Bonds has 762 career home runs. Oh, wait, shit. And then Wayne Gretzky has 894 goals in his NHL career. Now, what's interesting about the connection between those two numbers, 762 is the 626th composite number. And 894, we pull it up here once it loads, 894 is 626 in base 12. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. There's something with 626. Now, Alex Ovechkin, who is about to break Gretzky's record, he was drafted on June 26th, 6/26. And I was trying to find out the significance of 626. I looked on your old website. I couldn't find anything. And then I discovered that 626 is something called a semiprime. Now, a semiprime is a number that's the product of two prime numbers. So here's the list of all of them. And here's a table that shows the order. And what's interesting is that if we go down here, 626 is the 191st semiprime. Obviously, that's Society of Jesus 191. And looking at this list of semiprimes, hold on, I have to switch tabs. Sorry. Here's the right tab. Here, 626, 191st semiprime. And this list of semiprimes is very interesting. Like, 119 is the 39th semiprime. We know 119 and 39 numbers that go together. 122 and 41, those are numbers that go together as well with Kobe, Golden State. There's probably more on here that I'm not seeing right now, but semi-primes definitely seems like something that we should look into. I mean, I know it's just, we already have a lot with like composite numbers and triangulars and all that, but this semi-prime list seems kind of interesting.
Okay. Yeah. Always more to look into. It is a little bit complicated for all these people that have trouble just even with A, B, C is 1, 2, 3, but doesn't mean you can't advance the study in other ways. So interesting thoughts.
Yeah. And also whatever sickness or illness, whatever you want to call it, is going around right now, it is kind of no joke. I've been sick pretty much this whole week, and last night it did kind of feel like I got hit by a tidal wave when I had a fever. But
Evan, you know, every time I bring this up, people get mad that, like, Zach, I can't believe you're promoting the germ theory. That was debunked. I'm like, well, from my own life experience, it hasn't been debunked. It seems to be the way it works. What do you think about this? Do you feel like it was just something inside your body that just finally manifested along with everybody else right now? Or do you feel like you caught something because it's going around?
Yeah, I mean, like a bunch of people at my work were sick the last couple of weeks. I know a couple other people that were sick. So yeah, I definitely caught something from someone.
Seems to be the way it works. Just like Big Al, him and I don't get sick very often. His wife got sick. He got sick. Her whole workplace is sick. My mom's whole neighborhood is sick. My mom and sister were together. They both got very sick. Again, and now what I'm saying is I'm not sure this is organic. I feel like it's ritualistic. They're saying it's the worst outbreak in 15 years and flu equals 15. And that 15 number, as we know, is not arbitrary. You know, it's like Skull and Bones, which has a huge connection to the medical world. They bring in 15 members per year. The Illuminati, which is modeled after the Skull and Bones, their birthday is the first day of the 5th month. That 15 number is not arbitrary. It does happen to equate to flu, and that's the headline right now. Worst outbreak in 15 years. Seems to be true, because my mom has not been sick with the flu since way before I was alive. When she said she was about 20, in her early 20s the last time she had the flu. So she's now in her early 70s. It's been 50 years.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I quite had the flu because, well, I should say I still have it, but I think I am improving. But I don't think I had the flu because I looked up the flu symptoms and they said you get like your muscles are sore everywhere. I haven't. For me, it's just been more of a sinus infection than anything else. But yeah, it definitely is something. But yeah, that's all I've got to say. I just mainly wanted to get the point across about the semi-primes because I think that's something we should. That's another thing that we can
I
look
encourage
into.
all people when you come across something to investigate it and advance the research. It is complicated, though. It's probably not going to be the thing that helps out all these very
Right.
simple-minded people, but it doesn't mean it can't be good for the research. So
That's for
thank
sure.
you.
All right.
All right, take care, Evan. All right, and now we got Plain Decoded. What's up, Plain Decoded?
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing all right. What's up, man?
So I just checked now because I wanted to see, but they're saying they put the Pontifex Maximus on.
Can you boost your volume a little bit?
Hello?
I hear. If that's the best you can do, it's fine. I can hear you. It's just quiet.
So they're saying that they put the Pope on a respirator as of like half an hour ago.
59th day of the year. 59th day of the year. This is the day we were looking for. If it's today or tomorrow, I'm going to get the joke because 59 is what's defined him, but tomorrow's the 60th day of the year after Trump's 60th election being synced with him, and Trump's got the big 88 connection. It does seem that his time is near, and maybe since he became Pope in March, maybe there'd be something to that as well.
Yeah, I got March 4th. Can you guess why?
Well, France Church are all 34. Same with murder. Can write it 4-3 too, like Jesus Christ. Let me think. March 4th is the 63rd day of the year, so it'd be 77 days after his birthday or his 78th day of his age. 78 is a big Jesuit number. Oh, did you have another reason why?
If I'm not wrong, it's 201 days after Loyola's death.
Ah, and you know what else? It's also the old inauguration day, actually, too. That's when they used to inaugurate the president. So it's not a bad thought. It's not a bad thought at all.
Am I right? Because you cut out. And then you're cutting out, so I don't know if you're here.
Well, Ignatius Loyola died July 31st. That is the day leaving 153 days left in the year. So 153 plus 48 is 201. So February 17th must be 201 days after his death anniversary. Are you saying it's 201 to his upcoming death anniversary? I got to look at it, but I don't think that's going to be a 201 from his death anniversary. Or I guess I can just plug in the calculator and see, make this easier. Maybe I'm doing the wrong math. Ignatius Loyola died July 31st. So it'd be 149 days before his upcoming death anniversary and 216 days after his last death anniversary. Hello? I think we lost him. Maybe I misunderstood what he said. What's up, 510?
What up, Zach? Yeah, just to piggyback what he said. I got something too. Literally the last like 72 hours, like some little sinus. I got like green mucus and shit, like from out of nowhere. And then another little story. They did another. I think that was like a simulation they did. I think in Southern America, where they had the power go down for 19 million people.
Hold on a second, Leo. Go ahead, 510.
Oh, nah. I don't know if you seen that story. It was like 2 days ago. I was meaning to mention to you yesterday, but you're busy, so that's why I was just bringing that to your attention. And then one more thing before you start the sports gematria Warriors are now 7-1, and Curry did drop 56. And then that day yesterday was the third time that date he had like some crazy game. It was the last game before that was in OKC when he shot the dagger from far, and then the before was his first game in New York, the Garden, when he scored 54. And then they were saying like 227 on February 27th stuff. But that's all I had to say. I'll talk probably more in the Patreon. That's
all right, man. All right, appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, 56. Remember, Pope equals 56. Curry playing for San Francisco, named after St. Francis of Assisi, like the Pope. What's up, Leo?
My bad, Zach. I didn't know you were on the live. Is this the live for the Patreon?
Nah, I'm just doing a public live stream right now.
Oh, okay. My bad. No, I wanted to see if maybe I could call you after the live.
Sure.
So we could talk a little bit about another little venture.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'll call you back later today.
Okay, cool.
All right,
Thanks,
see you, man.
Zach. Appreciate you.
Yeah, no problem. All right. All right. I do got to wrap this thing up. Thank you to the super chatters. We raised $8 during the stream. Appreciate it, Paula, the Kitchen Witch, Jared Bailey versus the World, and Paula, the Kitchen Witch again. And she points out that he died in a rental home. You know, here's another point that should actually be made about his passing. He died in the 47th state, New Mexico, right? Gene Hackman, that is. And again, The French Connection is the movie that this is all about, as we proved at length. France has the 47. Again, his death perfectly coordinated with the Pope. Francis also has the 47 in the base ciphers, as does Vatican. And don't forget, we just had the first ever Super Bowl on the Vatican's birthday. It happened to be the Vatican's 95th birthday, Super Bowl 58. And remember what the score was. It was 25-22, 47 points, winning score 25. And yeah, we said we got to watch out for the Pope on the 59th day of the year. So this is the headline on the 59th day of the year an hour ago. Pope Francis' health suddenly worsens. Again, Pope Francis equals 59. Benedict stepped down on the 59th day of the year for him. We're on the anniversary of that. That happened in 2013. So this is the 12th anniversary of Benedict stepping down. Don't forget, Benedict died at 95, and he's from Germany, like Martin Luther, who wrote the 95 Theses. So yeah, I mean, this headline makes a lot of sense. Been a big number with the Pope. 59th election. We told you Biden would be number 46, exactly 46 weeks after the Pope's birthday in the 59th election. JFK was killed at 46. The only other Catholic president, John F. Kennedy, is also another 59, just like Pope Francis. And you see how John F. Kennedy also has that 49 in his name? Goes with where he died. Dallas, 49. And then it has the 193 in it as well, which is 44th prime number, like he was the 44th term president, and shootings 44. All right. All right. Thank you as well, R. Appreciate that. I think that's 510. Okay. I think we'll leave it there for now. Got a busy day ahead, so I'm not sure there's going to be any more streams today, but do appreciate the support and everyone who hits the like and the share and helps get the word out there. I know I challenged Gary, the numbers goon, to a debate, and he went on, had a tirade on his own channel, but didn't seem to want to debate. And yeah, we know why he doesn't want to debate. Going to be an ass whooping. And the word on the street is actually Andrew Wilson wants to debate again, but I'm not going to debate him on Sarah the Raging Tomatoes channel. I saw that he's friends with primetime Alex Stein, and Alex Stein has mentioned my work a few times, and he did a gematria video himself. Andrew Wilson, if you're out there and you do want to debate again, get it set up on Alex Stein's channel, because he would be a better moderator. And here's the other thing I got to say about the debate the other night. Before it began, the moderator asked me to keep my thing to 1 minute to 2 minutes for the opening, and I said I would, and I kept it very short and brief. I planned to say a lot more, and I wish in hindsight I had. Because I knew, so anyway, Anyway, he still lost the debate, took L's in every category. A lot of people are criticizing, like, Zach, you should have been like more direct against the types of points he's trying to make. Listen, all I did was continue to lay out my case and show how gematria was useful all night while he stumbled over knowing nothing about the Bible, strawmans, lying, trying to downplay facts. Again, to me, anyone who knows how to keep score, sure, I could have gone about it different ways, but I don't see where he scored any points in the debate other than make himself look like an asshole. And again, I demonstrate all night why gematria is useful for anyone who has a brain. That's the one problem with this world. There's few people who have a brain. So, those people, it just doesn't register in their empty, hollow heads. That's not on me. That's on them. Fresh and Fit should have, well, they're friends with Andrew as well, So, yeah, if I debate him again, it has to be on a different platform, not the bimbo moderator. Yeah, and I'll have a lot longer opening statement and just keep Andrew off what he wants to do. Derail it by give me a prediction, dude. I don't need to predict anything else, and you don't have to. Like I said, if something doesn't have predictive power, which this knowledge does, again, it can have many other uses. This knowledge is like a Swiss Army knife. You can do a million different things with it. So anyway. We'll leave it there for now. And by the way, again, just Jim Bob and Andrew, the two fake Orthodox Christians, the lessons I gave them within the last week plus, those lessons just, paying major dividends right here and looking at the death of a Gene Hackman. The 666 encoded into it just by it happening in New Mexico. Like I said, the 666 thing goes with the beast, right? And New Mexico's the 47th state in order of statehood. So Anyway, I got to hop off and do the old Patreon. And for all the guys who got off the Patreon because football season was over, you know what? You've missed out on a very glorious month. We just been rolling. I don't know why you guys are so addicted to football, man. Is it because you guys stop watching the games and just take advantage of the rigged games? They're all rigged. To only be here for football season is just a dumb man's move. All right. We'll leave it there, you guys. Until next time, True Seeker.